Hey, everybody. I think we're working here. We are here to bring you live coverage of this press conference update on the Louisville UPS plane crash that happened yesterday. I'm sorry for the short notice. I just saw this announced a short time before it was supposed to happen. So we're going to bring it to you live here. Is there volume in the room? There is volume. So we'll see what they have to say on this. Hold on. So we'll see what they have to say on. The mayor had said earlier today that 9 people had died. 9 people had died, and that number could go up. So the mayor's going to be speaking, Congressman Morgan McGarvey, Governor Andy Beshear, and we're going to have it for you live right here. So again, sorry for the short notice, but it just got announced. And then we might take a look at the NTSB press conference after. The NTSB did a press conference a short while ago. So we might take a look at that too. Oh, I have to put, this is live and this is in Louisville. Hold on, let me put that up on the screen here. Thank you for joining us.
What's it better on this side or on this side?
It's like it's just about to start. Oh, what am I hearing? I didn't hear what she said. She didn't speak into the mic, but all right, here we go. This is starting right now. Starting right now.
Everybody good? All right, good afternoon. It's now been about 23 hours since the catastrophic plane crash of the UPS flight that was headed from here, Louisville, Kentucky, to Honolulu. The mayor, and the congressman, and I have just visited the site, both where the plane first impacted, both structures and the ground, and then when the last portion of it came to rest. As governor, I've seen a lot. I've had to order freezer trucks in a pandemic. I've walked the line of an F4 tornado through my dad's hometown. I've seen towns hit by flooding we'd only describe as biblical, and what this scene is violent. Where the plane hit, at best, is destroyed. What you see are mangled remnants of what was in its path, completely burnt and blackened. Where the plane hit and where the initial explosion happened, you have significant damage. And then, like a lot of these disasters, just 5 or 6 feet away, not even the paint is disturbed on another vehicle or another building. As we walked through, there were a couple things that I thank God for. The restaurant, fully intact, could have had a lot of people, could have caused additional losses of life. Those owners have opened up their restrooms that the first responders are able to use, and for that, we're grateful, and I look forward to thanking them in person. The other thing we see are first responders from all over the area working seamlessly. Until you see their actual shirt up close, you couldn't tell one was from one department and another was from a different one. Thankfully, there's been a shift change, and most of the individuals that were out all night heroically fighting a massive fire that is under control with only a few hot spots left. Thankfully, most folks that were out late last night are sleeping if they can sleep, with a whole new group that is out. Why? Because these departments are sending everybody. They are all working together. It's an incredible credit to cooperation. In tough news of the day, our fatality count is now up to 11. I expect it to reach 12 possibly by the end of the day. And there are a handful of other people that we're still searching for that we hope weren't on site and that we hear were somewhere else. The other piece of news is we are moving from a rescue to a recovery mode. We do not expect to find anyone else alive in the area. Because of that, we now move and put the safety of the first responders at the top of the list. And so we're going to have limited operations at night because if you walk through this debris field, it's very easy for somebody to get hurt. And we want to make sure that everyone on site is safe. After disasters, we have lost people. And I don't want that to happen here. Not from a heart attack through overexertion, not through somebody tripping and hurting themselves at night. So these individuals have sacrificed for us. They've shown such incredible bravery, and we're going to make sure that we put their safety first. FBI is joining us today with our special agent in charge. They're going to be working with the NTSB on cataloging the debris and with debris removal. What that means is they'll be working through all of those reports that are coming in through the city, who did a great job in setting that website up very, very quickly. That's actually one of the newest innovations that I've seen in response to something like this. So, Mayor, thank you for doing that. But the FBI is going to provide their agents to go to those scenes. So if you've reported debris removal and the FBI knocks on your door, that's the reason. I think that's just important for people to know. They are cooperating and helping in this investigation, and we are grateful for them, grateful for our special agent in charge. For the 11 that we know we've lost, we're really hurting for their families. We believe that we'll learn that there was one child in those 11, and a young child at that, which makes it all the harder. So please remember that the images of yesterday may fade in people's minds over time, but the trauma that these families that have lost somebody yesterday are going through is going to last for years. And so Louisville and Kentucky are loving communities. We take care of our people. We just got to make sure that we are as strong as we push through this one as we've been through every other one, and we do not forget those that have been impacted. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, and then we'll hear from the congressman.
Thank you, Governor Beshear. Thank you for your leadership since the initial moments of this horrible tragedy and for the cooperation and partnership between the state and local federal authorities. This is another example, as the governor just said, about how everyone is working so closely together. What we just saw at the crash site is devastating beyond words. The impact and intensity of the wreckage, of the charred wreckage, is unlike anything I've ever seen before, and certainly nothing that I ever want to see again. The vast size of the debris field where the plane crashed in flames is completely heartbreaking. And our thoughts and prayers are going to be with the victims' families for as long as it takes for them to begin the recovery process, which certainly is going to take a while. We know that they're struggling with profound loss right now with lots of questions. And we are incredibly thankful for the first responders that were on the scene within minutes, and that, as you just heard, are still on the scene, working incredibly hard to identify victims, to provide information, to help begin the recovery process. So thanks to everybody. It's another reminder of how fragile life is and how each of us should give an extra hug to people that we care about today, tonight, and every day and every night. We learned also earlier today that a good friend of Governor Beshear, Congressman Garvey, and mine, is the owner of one of the businesses that has been devastated by this crash. I spoke to Sean just a little bit ago. He believes he's lost some employees, some customers that were at his location. It's just another reflection of the small town nature of this large city, Louisville, that we all live in, and how closely we are connected. And that's why we ask that we hug one another, support one another, contribute to the Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund, do whatever you can to continue that help others, starting with the victims' families. That relief fund is Team KY Emergency Relief Fund.ky.gov. And similar to other relief funds that the governor has organized in the past, every dollar donated will go directly to those who have been impacted. We're joining together, the city, the entire state, anyone from around the nation or world that wants to contribute. So the investigation, as mentioned, is underway. We will continue to provide information as it's available. We believe now that we're in the recovery phase, these updates will become a little less frequent. They might be via other means, but we will continue to provide information to the entire community as soon as it's available. And we'll continue to be available for questions that the community has. Again, our Family Assistance Center will continue to be there as long as it's necessary to help the families. And we're so incredibly thankful for the outpouring of support that we've continued to see throughout this day, just as we always do anytime there's a tragedy. I'm now going to turn it over to Congressman McGarvey.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor, always for your steadfast leadership in any moment, for always bringing everyone in our Commonwealth together. We are grateful you are here and for marshaling all of the state's resources. Our Mayor, also, your leadership is incredible in this issue. Being on the ground nonstop, the three of us in communication, making sure federal, state, local resources are here. You all have both been incredible leaders in this moment, and I think it shows who we are. Go home and hug your kids. Go home and hug your loved ones tonight. Go hug your neighbors. This hurts. Yesterday, it was a Tuesday at 5:15 in the afternoon. And it is going to change people's lives in this community forever. The skies over Louisville looked apocalyptic last night. People scared all over our community. Debris falling, ash falling, people sheltering in place. My family, one of those families. But what the three of us just went and witnessed at the site, it's like a scene out of a Terminator movie. It is burned and mangled wreckage beyond anything I've ever seen. The smells, the sights, these are things that are not going to escape us when we close our eyes tonight. Go hug your loved ones. Check on your neighbors. People are hurting right now. But it's in these moments of pain when I do, like the governor said, see signs of hope. The people at Stooges who were there last night checking on their restaurant, which somehow went unharmed, opening up the bathrooms for people today. The outpouring of food. This is when you know you're in the South. I think our first responders have enough food right now that they're going to be well fed for a long time. The emergency personnel, the first responders, the Oklahoma Fire Department, who ran head first into a blaze, the destruction of which we saw today. I can't imagine what it was like, but it was described as hotter than hell and raining down oil. They ran head first to protect, to do everything they could to save what they could. That's the spirit we're going at this with. That's why you see the federal, the state, the local level working together. I know that I've been on the phone with NTSB nonstop. The mayor and I were there to greet them as they got off the plane today. They are here. They have a dedicated team. The full resources of the federal government are being brought to bear on this. And we are working with everyone, the entire delegation, especially our senators, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul, Congressman Brett Guthrie. I've spoken recently with Congressman Andy Barr, asking what he can do as well. State, the local groups are assisting the NTSB. They're in control of the investigation now. I think it's important to talk about some of the things they want highlighted. They are going to do their best to get us answers. As much as we're hurting right now, we want those answers quickly. They want to make sure, though, that they're both thorough, that they're right, and that they're showing respect for everyone involved. We will continue working with them and giving them everything they need. They are also asking people to contact the NTSB if you have debris that you believe is from an airplane in your yard. Contact them. You can email them at witness@ntsb.gov. Witness@ntsb.gov. As the governor said, as a special agent in charge of the Louisville office has mentioned, you could have FBI agents coming out to retrieve that evidence. Do not be alarmed. Just like our local and state agencies are working together, our federal agencies are working together. The FBI is working with the NTSB because just as the NTSB is they're experts in reconstructing these types of accidents, the FBI, they are experts in collecting evidence. That's what they are doing. We will continue to work together because there's so much work being done. And I want to call out some of the unseen work being done as well today. The site where this happened is unbelievable. But all around this place, people are working. Yes, it's our first responders. It's the people who are at the airport today. It's the pilots. It's the people at UPS. It's the people who are having to go back to work today and somehow carry on as if it's normal. Air aviation is a small community. As we all know, Louisville is a small community. If you don't know someone directly impacted by this, you know someone who does. And that's why it's important we lift each other up. We lift up the people who are doing the work on the ground. And I know you have the commitment from our incredible governor, our great mayor, myself, and all of the agencies involved that we will work together to get as many answers and get as much relief as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's fine. One thing we mentioned, we forgot, is JCPS is back in school tomorrow. So, for our firefighters and first responders to render the area and general area safe, at least outside the crash area itself this quickly is pretty special, and everybody is going to benefit from it. We'll open it up to questions. The one thing that we will not do is speculate on the cause, even with videos that are out there. That's what the NTSB is here for. And I wouldn't describe what I'm willing to do as being patient, but I will be reasonable, understanding that they do need to gather that evidence, but there is a lot out there. And at least for me as governor, my expectation is this can't drag on for years. We're going to need to get some answers in a time frame to where if we need to take additional steps, we can do that. That's what's important to me. Yes.
Capriello with News Nation. You mentioned a child being one of the deceased. Obviously, I know a lot of this is sensitive and protected information. Can you just give us any more context in what a child might have been doing in this sort of commercialized area of business? And then on top of that, if there is anything else you could tell us about the victims and maybe...
So identities of the victims will be released by the coroner. I will tell you that the coroner was on the site removing bodies as we were there and as we were leaving. And so that process is moving right now. I will say that the condition may make it a little more difficult to identify some. That may take some testing. But I'm certainly going to convey, having all of us been through an incident where we lost a friend and it took a long time for us to hear that it's really important to get that news, especially to the families, that while they want to be 100% sure, being 98% sure is enough to start talking to these families and letting them process their grief. I think most of these families have been generally identified, have shown up looking for their loved ones. And then what this business is both people can come looking to purchase parts. They can also sell different materials there. So this is probably a family or part of a family that was here with the parent doing that part of either the buying or the selling.
Any of the deceased, anyone that was already in the hospital or anything like that, or is this just?
I do not believe any of the new numbers that we've announced today are in the hospital. I believe those 2 individuals are still in critical condition or are still in the hospital but have not passed away, at least to my knowledge.
Mayor, do you know how many businesses are affected, either damaged or closed from this, or are you still figuring that out?
So we don't have an exact number for you, but given the large area that's closed off right now, restricted for emergency vehicles, there are a significant number of businesses that are impacted. You just heard about One Stooges, that's a restaurant right there, but there are a lot of other operating. River Metals is across the street there. Lots of businesses all along that street that, while they might not have direct damage from the incident, their business right now is not accessible. We need to let our first responders do that, but of course we're going to try to let businesses get back open as soon as we safely can, consistent with the investigation.
You mentioned Kentucky Petroleum getting bought out.
Yes, and also we've been talking about the other business that is in the path of the destruction, both Grade A auto parts that we were just talking about, where we know the owner. Then there was also Kentucky Petroleum that has a new name, I think, as a result of some ownership change. I believe it's GL Environmental. So that's the same company, but a different name. We were on their property as well, viewing some of that horrible wreckage.
What else can you share about the person who you do know who owns the business, Grade A Auto Parts, you were just alluding to, and the connection that you guys have to him?
Is a personal friend of the 3 of ours that we've all known for a while, and he is in grief for the loss of employees, of customers, seeing his business literally now having gone up in flames, being charred ruins. We'll be there for him as friends, and we'll be there for all of the businesses that are impacted and their ownership group and their employees, just as we are for the victims of the family. Again, tragedies like this impact so many people in so many different ways. That's why we continue to encourage people to call 988 to seek other help that we've provided the phone numbers for if people want to talk to somebody. This has an impact far beyond the victims who were killed by this fatal tragedy.
Let me add, if I can. The mayor advised me as I arrived today whose business it was. I've been there. I've taken a tour of it, seeing how the operation works. He works there with his sons. They take their dogs to work. Got a lot of great employees there. He knows everyone that's on that lot, and I just can't imagine how this feels for them today.
And Governor, moving into the recovery mode instead of the rescue mode, how is that impacting the emergency personnel? Are numbers going to be going down?
Yes.
For people who are on the site?
The numbers on the site are already down significantly from fighting a giant blaze. We were able to do a shift change, so most people are now getting some sleep. When we've got a couple of the fire trucks that are still on site, because you got a couple of hot spots and they're right there ready for them watching. You'll now have more personnel from NTSB and others that are on. You'll still have people until we get through the entire grid multiple times doing the search for any other bodies, because that's all we're going to find at this point, unfortunately. And so you'll see them reduce from that point as well. You're going to see at least a few emergency personnel and ambulances stay to make sure if anybody's hurt on the site that they get that help immediately. But I've got to say, to be able to put out a blaze like that and to be able to stabilize a site this size from a giant airplane filled with aviation fuel this quickly, get kids in school the next day is pretty special. And I'm amazed by not only the training of all of these different groups, but their ability to work so seamlessly together. It's a lesson that we all ought to take and try to put into practice.
Governor, earlier in Kentucky, you talked about the 16 families that were still looking for loved ones and how that number might change. Do you have an update for that?
I don't. I'm hoping some of them have found their loved one. Again, I think the number 11 is going to increase. I hope it doesn't increase significantly. Anybody else? All right. Thank you all very much. And
You had a chance to speak to President Trump yet?
I have not, but we're speaking to all the different agencies that are involved. We're getting everything we need from the federal government. So, no criticism. As long as we get the help we need, that's all that matters. No D, no R, just all of us showing up, doing the best we can for our people. Thank you all.
Thank you all very much.
All right, so that was the latest update. We're going to talk more. I'm going to show you footage of what happened yesterday. And very sadly, the death toll has gone to 11 in that UPS plane crash yesterday. And we know that UPS said there were 3 crew members. That means 8, it hasn't been confirmed who passed away yet that I'm aware of. But that means at least 8 people on the ground have died from this incident. And the governor expects that may go higher. So I actually have some video I'm going to show you. I want to take some comments from you guys. And there was a short while ago, there was a NTSB update about this. And I think we're going to I want to talk about the press conference with you and show you the video of what happened and take your comments. And then I think we're going to look at the NTSB press conference as well. There's no cause yet that's being investigated, but I'll show you in the press conference. You can see right here. You'll see it in a second here. An engine fell off a UPS plane before a deadly crash and explosion in Kentucky, the NTSB says. So again, we're going to watch that shortly. I want to take some comments and I want to show you what happened. And actually, before I take any comments, let me quickly play this video. So I actually bought the rights to the video, which I think best shows what happened in the incident. And this is from, I'm going to put this up on the screen for you right here. And if you give me a second, this is yesterday via Reuters, Stringers Hub. Okay. So I'm going to put this up here, and then here is the video from yesterday of the incident. Where you can see, that's not the one, it's this one here. Here it is right here. All right, so let me put it on the screen for you. Okay, hold on. Put it right. I'll make it a little bigger. I think that might be more helpful. Let's try it here. I can replay it, but here's the video.
Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead.
It's awful. I'm sorry for the language it's on the video. Let me just adjust the placement a little bit because I know we lost a little bit of it at the bottom. So again, I know, this is obviously a crash, and the reason we're playing it is not simply because we want to play a crash video. We're playing it, and it's not graphic in this. I wouldn't play it if there were bodies in it. But is the one video I've seen where you see the plane, there's like it looks like a fire in the left wing or somewhere in the left engine or something. You actually see the plane before the crash. So again, I'm sorry about the language, but it is what it is. So let me just show you again. Again, I moved the video up. I think we lost it below the lower third. So let me play again. Again, I apologize for the language, but you can see what happened in the video. So let's look at this again from yesterday.
Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
Hold on. Now, if we pause it, you can see, I mean, certainly looks like there is fire on the left side of the plane. So, you know, that's the one video. I have another video of the plane crash, like from a surveillance video. But this is the only one I've seen. Now, Nicholas thinks right after the video starts, you can see a secondary explosion under the right wing. That's what Nicholas said. Where is that at? Oh, so I'm not an expert on this stuff. So Nicholas, I think, is seeing some sort of flash on the right. I'm not going to say what that is. Right there, is that what you're talking about or not? I don't know. You do see some sort of flash on the right, but I don't know what that is. Jesse Davin thinks the engine on the top of the back of the plane is likely a compressor stall from the fire smoke debris. So this plane, by the way, it's an MD-11 plane. Which does it have 3 engines? 3 engines? One on each wing and then one on the back? Looks like it to me. 3 engines, right? 1, 2, 3. Engines, 3. 3 engines. Okay, so all right, hold on. Let me put this back on. We're gonna watch in a couple minutes. We're gonna check out what the NTSB had to say about this today. I am not a plane expert, but just to go back again. So it's, you know, you have the fire on the left side of the plane, but there's also an engine on the right side in the back. I haven't actually watched, somebody mentioned Captain Steve. I have not watched any aviation experts talk about this yet. I'd like to watch Blanco Lirio if he did a video about it. I actually haven't watched that stuff yet. Maybe some of you have. So, and again, I'm not an aviation expert, but just let me one more time again for the people who haven't seen it, just to again, this shows you what happened in the crash. It's terrible. But it is the evidence of what the video evidence I've seen, the only video evidence of what was happening when the plane was taking off before it actually crashed.
Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
It also really shows you how terrible the explosion was, you know, for people on the ground there. Carl Foreman says after the crash, you can see part of the plane fly off to the left. Man Bear Pig says mechanics probably at fault. I know last night the Washington Post had an article where they talked to an expert, and the expert said, I am certainly not an aviation expert. A longtime investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board told the Washington Post that videos taken at the scene show what appears to be a severe fire in the left engine during the takeoff roll. That investigator told the Washington Post, although the nose gear was off the ground, it looks like they never became airborne. The investigators will likely be looking for evidence of an uncontained engine failure, where a high-speed rotating part of an engine fractures, which can result in catastrophic damage to the engine, fuel lines, or other parts of the structure. That's what one expert said. Ryan says, this happened down the road from my wife's friend's house. You know, I've seen some speculation also. I don't know enough about this. I did look up online at a forum where people who knew what they were talking about appeared to be talking about it. And there was some speculation that maybe, you know, well, why, if one engine's not working, why can't it fly with the other engines? But there was some speculation that what happened if there was a problem with one engine, it could create problems for the other engines somehow. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. And as to why this is happening at this time, I have no idea. Right now, technically, the expert who said it didn't appear to get airborne. I mean, it does seem like it's up a little bit, but it certainly didn't go very high. My Nan is wrinkly thinks that debris from one engine went into another engine. Again, we're going to watch what the NTSB had to say about this shortly. Oh, one of our viewers mentioned the CCTV footage in the car park. I actually have that video, so let me show you that next. By the way, thanks to our moderators who are here, Beth Bithical and Beezy and Ruth Krafasi. I really appreciate it. Also, Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X, thank you for moderating very much. Also, I want to thank, if you give me a second here, our moderators Hearsay, I Got That Fire in Matthew Kohai 3. And also on Facebook, sorry, give me one moment here. Thank you to all of our moderators over there. Margaret Riley is moderating right there. Thank you. And let me pull up the other video too. Thanks, by the way, to Jazzy Renee on Twitch, Meat Missile on Twitch for the community subs, the gift subs. Thank you. Also, thanks so much to Mark Barnes, our member, Debbie James for the memberships, and I Am Charlie. Thank you, I Am Charlie. So I'm going to show you this other video. This is from this article. Now, this article was earlier. This article says at least 7 dead. This was a Reuters article earlier today. Well, now it's at least 11 dead, and the number is supposed to rise. The number very well might rise. Officials said all 3 aboard were killed. All 3 aboard were killed. I didn't see that press conference earlier, but Reuters said earlier they said all 3 aboard were killed. And then that would be 8 on the ground were killed at least. So here is this video from this article. It says, so let me put this on the screen for you. It says, this video contains content some people may consider distressing. You don't see bodies or anything, but you're actually going to see the plane come into frame. This looks, it looks like some sort of security camera video. It's crazy. Hold on. I just want to point out it's from Kentucky Truck Parts and Service. That's where the video is from. Sorry, I'll play it for you now. It's actually 2 different videos. There's the plane. I think maybe that this is a shortened clip. This is the Reuters clip that they have. You can see there is the plane right there. There's video where some videos where you can see the plane actually come into frame. But you can see the plane right there, right here. It's crazy. And then you can, on the next one, you can see it. Look up on the top there. Actually, I gotta move this down so you can see it right on the top there. Let me move the whole thing down. Sorry, I had this a little too high up, so you were missing the top of the video. I'm sorry. I'll play it one more time for you so you can see the top of it. But there's the plane. You can see it fly through there, right there. Wow. Now look up at the top again, top left. You actually see it go across the screen there. Elsevier Block says the entire left engine is at the side of the runway, not just the cowling. That's what Elsevier says. And then if I can turn the volume down, I'll just do this, where you actually can see. Let's just show you again that the plane going through. If I can cue it up in the right place, right here. So there on the top there, you see that plane. I mean, it's crazy to see this going down in this industrial area just south of the airport. Unbelievable. Yeah, truck driver sitting in his cab. Is this the I saw a video of a truck driver who was responding, who you could see react to this. Was the truck driver in this truck? I'm not sure. Was it this truck right here? Because I've seen the video and you actually see the truck driver react. Oh, does he come out of there? I wasn't even looking at the truck when I played the video. Do you see him come out of the truck in this video? I'm not sure. Or what? Oh, there's another guy over here. Jason D thinks it's a different truck. This guy jumps out of his truck right there. No, there's another video. Is the video from the truck that guy? I don't even know. I thought it was from like a different truck. Some of our viewers are saying different trucks. Yeah, there are a bunch of videos. These are the ones I have the rights to. But again, what I'm going to do in just a couple minutes, I am going to play the NTSB press conference. The NTSB did a press conference a short while ago, and they discussed some things about the plane and their investigation into the crash. So just in a couple of minutes, I'll play that for you, and we can talk about that as well. I have it queued up here. But to repeat, if I can just pull this up again for you. Right here. I mean, this really is. I'll turn the volume off right now just so we can play it a couple times because we don't need that for the moment. But this is there it is right there. Evelyn in Maine said that the black boxes had been recovered. I had seen a report of that somewhere. I don't know if they said it in the press conference. We're going to watch the press conference in a second. Now, also, I want to point out, for those who didn't see it, we a short while ago, we played the newest press conference. We watched that live a short while ago, and the governor announced that there are now 11 people dead, and that would include the 3 people crew. But that's 8 on the ground, and it sounds like they think that number is going to rise. And I believe that earlier today, Governor Beshear had said 16 families were missing people. Here, I'll show you that. Right, so 9 hours ago, 9 hours ago, Governor Beshear posted this. He said, at the reunification center, 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for. A significant search and rescue mission was underway overnight. Now, at the time, the death toll wasn't 11, so some of those 16 may have ended up finding out that their family member, sadly, is dead. But that was as of this morning. He said that 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for. Space Dust thinks the pilots cannot see the engines from the cockpit. It is very likely they had no idea they were on fire unless they were told by the tower. I'll play this, but again, I'm going to put it on without the audio for the moment. We had the audio on before, but it's a little bit loud, and it's a bit, it's the audio. There's some language on there, and it's people who are distressed, understandably. But it is the video of what happened. Goose thinks they can't see the engine. Now, Kathy says this video was supposedly taken from somebody on another plane. I was wondering about that. Is this another plane or is this a vehicle? I mean, it's at the airport. So what is happening with it there? Mike says NTSB did confirm in both black boxes were recovered and sent to D.C. Taka says this is a vehicle that they're taking this video from and not a plane. This overkill says it is from a worker. Yeah, well, I don't know what vehicle this is. I mean, you can see that's part of it. You can see this right here. It doesn't look like a plane to me. But what I don't know for sure. El Vizier says they are airport workers. Judy said she thought it was from ground crew. All right. Do you guys want to check out? Why don't we check out? Let's check out. Some of our viewers think it's a baggage tug. Ty McFadden thinks it's a baggage tug. A bunch of our viewers think it's a tug. This vehicle right here that the people are on taking the video. And again, I'll let you, for the people who haven't heard their reaction, they're certainly horrified, as you can imagine, when this happened.
Bro, get the fuck away from here, like turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
It's just terrible. But hopefully it helps helps the authorities figure out what happened. Lana says, it is such a tragedy. I'm so sorry for the family suffering from this incident. Yeah, certainly condolences to everybody the families of all those who died. A bunch of people who died from the press conference, if I'm getting this right, this is what I heard, that there were a bunch of people who died at Grade A Auto Parts, which is an auto parts store. I believe the governor knows and the mayor know the owner of the store. And they said both employees and customers were killed at the store, if I'm remembering that right. That's what I thought I heard in the press conference. That's how I interpreted them talking about it in the press conference. We just heard it. You can rewind and watch it. So I hope I didn't get that wrong, but that's how I heard it in the press conference. That they said it was employees and customers who were at this business. Oh, and I should actually show you where that business is located before we go to the NTSB briefing. I'll show you that. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull it up here for you. If I can get the maps up here. It said Grade A Auto Parts in Louisville. I have it right here. And this will help you see how close it is to the airport, this auto parts store. Here is, oops, I'm going to take this off. Hang on one sec here. Sorry, I just need to zoom in a little more. Why won't this do this? So there's grade A auto parts, and there's the end of the runway. You can see right there. You can see how close it is to the airport. Grade A auto parts. Now it says here, one of our viewers mentioned the hours. It says here that the normal hours are till 5. I believe the crash happened shortly after 5, but maybe maybe it was open late or people were still there or whatever. Mayflower Kid says, wrong place, wrong time. John Papa Giorgio says the parts pickup counter is all the way to the right. Is it the whole? I don't know if it's the whole lot or if it's just this or what, but that says grade A auto parts right there. Some people are saying this is a salvage yard here. Again, I don't know if this belongs to this. But it is right near the airport. I mean, there's the runway. There's the runway right there. You know, M says it makes no sense to build a business so close to the end of the runway. I don't know how that works. You know, generally, how many airports are like this? You know, not all airports are like this, where you have these, you know, businesses right off the end of the runway. And, you know, what kind of decisions play into that? LNG says, imagine just minding your own business, picking up some auto parts, and next thing you know, the business explodes around you. Okay, let's Sparky Pilot says Seattle totally has a ton of stuff on either end. So I don't know how that all came about. It's an interesting question. So let's look at what the NTSB had to say. So earlier in the stream, if you want to go watch it, we showed you live the governor and mayor and congressional representative update say about the crash. They said they've gone into recovery mode. They said 11 people are now dead. I think they said that there's 2 people still in critical condition, but they think the number of deaths could go higher. Oh, they did also mention a Kentucky official donation site. If I can find that for you, I will post it. It was mentioned in the actual briefing. I'll just quickly see if I can find it, but it's definitely in the briefing. Emergency Release Fund set up. How to help. This is it right here, I believe. Isn't it this one? Yeah, this is a government site. Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund. I think this is it. I want to be sure. I think this is it. I have to look it up. The WLKY linked to that site. Anyways, they give the address back in the press conference that we showed earlier. And also WLWT said the governor launched the Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund, with every dollar being donated to those impacted for funerals, response, recovery, and rebuilding. Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund. That's what it looks like. You can look it up. I don't know if he posted it on his I'd like to get the link from his social media. I'm sure he will. Let's watch the end. Anyways, hopefully you have enough information to go on to find that if you want. Let's watch the NTSB update a short while ago. Steve the Pug Shepherd believes the video we were watching was taken at UPS Worldport by an employee at UPS Ramp 9. I used to work there. Thank you, by the way, to Thorn Ravenstar. Thank you, Thorn. Thorn says, just terrible. Also, Smitty Smith, thank you. Have there been aerial footage released today of the aftermath? That's a good question. So I haven't been looking into this all day. So I do not know if there's new aerial footage from the day of the aftermath. The governor and the mayor said they had just been there, and they said it's horrible. And the congressional representative said it looked like something out of a Terminator movie. But I don't know. I don't have it myself. I don't have access to it myself to show you. But I'm not sure if there's been new drone footage or something. If I become aware of it, I'll let you know. Okay, so look. Let's look at the NTSB. We're going to watch. This is the NTSB. I haven't even watched this yet myself. But the NTSB gave an update earlier this afternoon. This is the NTSB update on the investigation into the crash. And this update was in Louisville. This was in Louisville. So we'll watch this update, and then we'll take some more of your comments after.
Hello, I'm Todd Inman. I'm a board member with the National Transportation Safety Board. I'm here to represent and will be briefing you on the NTSB GO team that arrived in Louisville, Kentucky early this morning. Now we're just beginning our investigation into an airplane crash that occurred at approximately 5:15 last night at the Louisville airport. The NTSB is an independent federal agency that is tasked by Congress to investigate every civil aviation accident that occurs in the United States, along with significant railroad, pipeline, rail, and highway events. We also issue safety recommendations aimed at preventing future losses. Now, before I go any further, on behalf of the entire NTSB, I want to just express our sincere condolences to those who were not only affected by losing family members in this accident, but those that were also injured and those that are still missing. It is a tough day for Louisville, for Kentucky. It's a tough day as being a Kentuckian myself, and I know what a great community this is, how impactful those people that suffered and have died are, and we've seen it all day. We know it is tearing at the community, and we're deeply sorry, and we are here to try to find out not only what happened, but why it happened, and more importantly, how do we prevent it from happening again. So here is some factual information we have at this time. And I'm going to read a few notes to make sure we have it exact. The airplane involved was a McDonnell Douglas II, which was then altered to be an MD-11F. The F stands for freighter. It is now handled by the Boeing Corporation. So whenever you hear that Boeing is a party, it is because of the merger with McDonnell Douglas many years ago. The plane was manufactured in 1991 with a tail number of November 259 UP. The plane was traveling from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, Hawaii. There were 3 souls on board the plane. After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile. Now, we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll. This and other videos, along with evidence we are finding, are a very valuable asset to our investigators in helping us hone further which areas we were going to be focusing on as we move into further days of the investigation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our process at the NTSB. What we will do is analyze the facts, determine the probable cause of this accident, and then issue a report on those recommendations. Now, the investigator in charge of this is with me here. It's Chi-Hoon Shin, who has been with the NTSB for 13 years. He is one of our more senior investigators, and in fact was leading one of the groups during the DCA crash. He has a number of other individuals with them. We have approximately 28 from our headquarters and other locations that are either on the ground or will be here before the end of the day. They're also being supported by dozens of individuals at our headquarters in Washington, D.C. and other field offices. As part of this investigation, we will be forming specific groups. And when we form a group, it will be a focus area led by an NTSB individual along with subject matter experts that are in that field that can provide expertise to help analyze the evidence. Our current groups that are being formed are operations. They will review the history of the accident flight and the crew members' duties for as many days before the crash that appear relevant. Our structures group will document the airframe wreckage, the accident scene, including the calculation of the impact angles to help determine the plane's pre-impact course and altitude. We also have a power plants group. They will work on the examination of the engines and engine accessories. We have a systems group. They will study the components of the plane's hydraulic, electrical, pneumatic, and associated systems, together with the instruments and elements of the flight control system. Now, outside of that group, we have also brought in, and another group that we'll have will be maintenance, which will obviously be looking at maintenance records, any work that's been done on this plane for as long as back as needed. We are also bringing in specialists in air traffic control, human performance, aircraft performance, recorders, government relations, media relations. And in addition to our investigators, we have brought 5 of our transportation disaster assistance team. They will be dealing with the survivors, the families, and others under what we call a federally legislated accident from the 1996 Family Assistance Act. Now, tonight we will be holding an organizational meeting and establishing parties to our investigation. Because we're very new into it, we will not be announcing the parties at this moment, but they will obviously be manufacturers of the aircraft, operators of the aircraft, unions representing some of the members. We'll have more details on that probably tomorrow during a briefing. Now, the NTSB offers this party status to those companies, government agencies, and associations that have employees or activities or equipment involved in the accident. And we offer this because they have subject matter expertise and technical expertise and relevant information to help support the development of the best possible report. Now, once a party joins an NTSB investigation, they are not permitted to release documents or talk publicly about the investigation without the consent of the NTSB. Now, you can rest assured right now all of the parties or potential parties are complying with that requirement, and they're cooperating fully with the NTSB investigators. Again, it will be only the NTSB that will release information regarding this accident going forward. Tomorrow will be our first full day on scene. Our investigative teams, we anticipate, will be here at least a week, if not longer. Our mission, again, is to understand not only what happened, but why it happened, and recommend changes to prevent it from happening again. We will not be determining the probable cause while we are here on scene, nor will we speculate about what may have caused this. Now, since we're just beginning with the investigation, we don't have more factual information to give you at this time, but we believe over the next couple of days we'll be able to avail a little bit further for you. I do want to also mention this just happened in the last basically 30 minutes. We have identified the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder. This is what is commonly referred to as a black box. We have investigators now that have located it. As you can imagine, it's suffered some heat, not intrusion, but heat around it. These recorders are built for that. And just before we get the question, these recorders were updated from its original manufacturer. They are L3 Harris, installed at 2 different dates. We're going back and verifying that. But we feel comfortable once we get these to our lab in DC that we will be able to get a good readout of the applicable data, and that will be yet another point of information that will really help us understand what happened during this point of flight. So I would ask, though, if you have the opportunity to let the public know, we know there's a lot of debris out there. And it's in some yards, it's in some business locations. If you can have any debris or you see something that you think is from an aircraft, please contact us at the email address witness@ntsb.gov. Again, that email address is witness@ntsb.gov. Sometimes we get some very good information from items that are found, and with a debris field a half-mile long, we're still making the determination of exactly where and what parts of the airplane and where they're at. Now, be happy to take a few questions. Again, we are limited in the information. When you do, please tell me who you're with and what your name is. Tom, you made the trip.
Thank you, sir. Member Inman, can you talk about a photo that we've seen and video as well of what appears to be an engine sitting on the side of a road or on the road? Is that, in fact, do you believe that's the number 1 left side engine? And separately, you talked about the black boxes that you've identified them, and they should be able to withstand heat, but can you describe what they look like and what, if any, marks, sear marks, black marks there are on those black boxes?
Okay, the first question was basically the engine that's been seen in some photographs. We do believe that that is the engine from the left side of the plane. It is actually on the airfield, so it's not off the airport property. That correlates with the video that we've seen of it detaching from the airplane while it is in flight. We also know that a fire was occurring during that time, and so we're analyzing that. In fact, we have teams right now that are preparing to do the runway in what we call a FOD walk. That is foreign object debris. Obviously, the runways have been shut down, but we need to not only take drone coverage and video coverage of where every piece of this evidence is, but then we need to recover it and tag it, and those will give us even more pieces of information. So right now it's still in the field. We're making arrangements for that evidence to be recovered and stored in a secure location. And once we are able to analyze it, we may need to ship it off for specialists for things like that. But we do feel comfortable that we're going to get a lot of good information from it. What was your second part?
Jeff, can you describe the physical condition of what you saw and how those black boxes actually look?
The physical condition of the black boxes. I've only seen one picture. You could easily tell that it was a black box, 2 types of cylinders on top. Our specialists said they were able to easily identify that. We don't know until it gets to Washington, D.C. I will tell you that they're manufactured to a very specific standard. Luckily, they were not in a post-impact fire for multiple days or on the bottom of the ocean. So while the fire may have been intense, it is built to withstand that. And once we get them to DC and we can open them up and take these steps, and sometimes we have to take multiple steps. Now, it will be multiple, or at least several days before we have a readout of those, because as we take them apart, we need to let some of our groups go through and do what's called audition them, and then they'll come up with a potential or partial transcript looking for identifying markers that we need to delve into further while we're on the ground. So And as always, we will never be releasing the actual audio of any of those conversations out of respect for those who are involved in the aircraft. Yes, sir.
Alex Capriello with News Nation. While the black boxes in the data recorders are certainly built to withstand heat and exposure and the sort of catastrophe that occurred here, can you give us an idea about the rest of the aircraft, the fuselage, if anything exists, and then perhaps even larger point, the difficulty for you and your investigators when there is a debris field that's half a mile long?
So the question is how the rest of the fuselage, the airplane, as it rests right now, what we may have seen, and how it impacts the investigation. We've seen some aerial videos and some photographs. The emergency management here, along with the first responders, have done an amazing job. We've been working with them since we've gotten on the ground. They have some command posts set up, and I just want to applaud them for not only the work they've done and the work they are doing and the courtesies they're providing us, along with the UPS staff and everyone here at the airport. But to answer the ultimate question, there are a lot of different parts of this airplane in different places. I mean, whenever you have a post-impact to not only structures but also to the terrain, you have to analyze why it came there, and then how do you recover it correctly in order to analyze it. So I can't give you a real good definition of what it is. There's a lot of different parts. It doesn't complicate it to where it's not recoverable. A mile and a half, a half a mile is a pretty large distance, but we have to be very cautious. The main thing we're also worried about are the safety of not only the investigators, but the first responders that are there. We know that there's been some shelter in places in the area. We also know that while the fire departments were working throughout the night, there were occasionally little flare-ups in different spots. So they're having to constantly monitor that to make sure it's safe for someone to get in. So it may not be the length of the debris field. It may be where the debris field is in, say, a recycling facility or another location, and the amount, of course, fuel that the plane was carrying. Those can all add to the complexity of an investigation. Yes, ma'am. So the question was, are we aware of any staffing shortages because of the government shutdown? We are not at this time. SDF Tower, from what we can see and what we've been told, was at its proper complement. I don't have the exact records, but I will put you to the fact that we have formed groups in areas that we're focusing information on. We have not formed an ATC group. We have specialists in that, but at this point it has not elevated itself to the point to where we feel they need an entire working group. And I would go back to the same thing in regard to the shutdown. Our investigators have been working since the day it started. The shutdown occurred. I've been working every day since then. We've only recalled a few individuals yesterday just to handle some of the logistics of our travel and our movements. But we have everyone we need and then some in order to make sure we're performing this investigation. Yes, sir.
Looking for some context. How rare is it that you see a plane with this much fuel on it going down and creating the fire that we saw here?
Okay, so the question is how much fire in regard to this fuel load, and how in the United States we don't see it very much, which is great, and it means that the recommendations, we've made over 15,000 recommendations in our 65-year history. We have about an 82% success ratio. We have a mantra that used to be in front of our training facility, and it's, from tragedy we draw knowledge to improve the safety for all. And so for every tragedy we've had, we draw more knowledge, and we try to learn from that. And we hope that we don't repeat the same mistakes. So in this case, I'm sure we're going to learn some new things. We're going to make some recommendations and some findings. What they are yet, we do not know. But I would say a freighter that's fully loaded, that's going to Honolulu, is going to have a large amount of fuel. And that obviously was part of the post-accident response. Yes, sir.
What's the rotating speed of a fully fueled heavy 11? How fast is it going to take off?
The question was, what is the rotation speed? Takeoff speed? 175, 180?
Top of my head.
I don't have the exact figures for you. I apologize. I'm not a pilot. We will be looking at that. Typically, you're looking at speeds in the 150s to 180s, 190s, but I don't want to give you a definitive number because I would be guessing. And some of those are based upon exactly what's occurring at what point of flight that it's occurring. So there's a lot of different things that go into it in addition to the weight and balance. All of these have been mapped out over decades to specifically know how much thrust and speed is needed to obtain lift and to achieve it, and if necessary, to do an emergency diversion. So we've had a lot of experience with that. I don't know at this point if it will be a factor, but it's certainly something we'll look at. Yes, sir.
Dylan Lovin, Associated Press. Was this flight delayed and maintenance being done on this flight?
So the question was this flight delayed or were maintenance being done before that? We, as part of the maintenance group, they will be going back and looking at every aspect of maintenance that was done on this plane and how many cycles since it's occurred. To date, UPS has indicated to us that it was not delayed and that there was not maintenance work done immediately before. Now, again, that is information that we will still collaborate and independently verify, but at least by first glance, we do not see that happening. I know it's been reported some places, but we have not found something to lead us into looking at an immediate pre-takeoff.
Two more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of any airworthiness directives that were out regarding MD-11 or the engine manufacturers?
The question is in regard to airworthiness directives regarding the engine or the actual aircraft. I'm not aware of any. We go through a very regimented process of things that we view and try to review: maintenance records, airworthiness directives, advisory circulars, service bulletins. To say that there's none would be probably very unlikely, because an aircraft that's been flying for that many years could have had multiple different generations. It will be something that we'll look at. We'll be confirming whether the work was done or how it was done and who did it. But at this point, we have not seen anything that's said we need to hone in on a specific area. One more question? Yes, sir.
Tom Riddle with WHAS here in Louisville. How much of your investigation focuses on the runway itself here at SDF, and will the runway remain shut down as you continue to investigate?
So the question is in regard to how much of our investigation will focus on the runway and how long it will be shut down. The runway itself, from what we have seen, was obviously being used continually. Louisville has a lot of operations every day. They have a really great crew that works on their operations, maintenance, and upkeep. We'll be looking at any type of factors, such as when they last did a FOD scan or whether there was good skid, whatever. A lot of different things go into the actual pavement. So right now, we're not seeing something that says we need to open up an airport working group. In regard to the closure of the runway, we're very cognizant. I mean, I was here 4 months ago meeting with the safety staff. They invited me up, got to talk to the president of UPS Airlines and all of their safety staff. We were walking through a lot of different scenarios. And one of the things that struck me was, not only is this a company that moves freight, they are delivering life-saving drugs, postal products, food, supplements, you name it, that come through this hub every night. And so we've been emphasizing the need to make sure we're getting every piece of perishable evidence and doing it in the most diligent way, but at the same time understanding that this investigation could slow down a lot of important products, not just for this company, but for Americans across the country and across the world. And I think we have to be cognizant of that. That's the reason why we were working so diligently today to try to do the mapping and to get the FOD walk. In regard to actually keeping the runway shut down, we do not shut down runways. It is the airport authority. Obviously, they have been working with us in a great fashion and are trying to do everything they can to make sure we have the information. But we are hopeful that we can turn over at least one of the runways shortly, and as soon as possible the other runway, while still preserving all the evidence. Thank you very much.
What about a timeline when you might have a preliminary report out?
So that was the NTSB, and I just want to. That was the NTSB, and I just want to call your attention to when they said that the left engine detached from the wing during the takeoff roll. I'm going to play that one little section again. The takeoff roll, as I understand it, the takeoff roll is the part of the takeoff where the aircraft starts moving forward and accelerating from standstill to the takeoff speed. So it's that part of acceleration on the runway. And while that was going on, I guess the engine came off. Let me just find that exact part. It's right at the beginning when he said, or towards the beginning, what was it, about 5 minutes in? Let me just find the exact mention of it so I can play you that exact mention. Hang on. Hold on one moment.
Our investigative since we're just beginning for you, I do want to also actually our L3 Harris. If you have the opportunity, again, that email address is witness. Because we're very new.
I'm just finding where he mentioned it. Somewhere at the beginning.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about our process at DNT Police and others.
Where's the time code?
Announcing companies and relevance assured right now will be only at least a week information. It is yet another point from an aircraft found, and with a debris field a half-mile long, we're still. Please contact us. Be sincere condolences. How impactful and more the airplane involved.
I think I found it.
Involved.
I think is it right? Is it right here? I think.
It is now handled by the Boeing.
Hold on. Here it is.
Occurred during the plane was manufactured in 1991 with a tail number of November 259 UP. The plane was traveling from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, Hawaii. There were 3 souls on board the plane. After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile. Now, we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll. This and other videos, along with evidence we are finding, are a very valuable asset to our investigators in helping us hone further which areas we were going to be focusing on as we move into further days of the investigation.
The left engine detached from the wing during the takeoff roll. That's what he said. Now, also, there are photos out, and I think he said, if I remember right, he confirmed this. He said that there are legit photos out of engine debris or the engine itself. I don't have the rights to those, but I've seen some online. Actually, on the airfield, the engine, I believe, is on the airfield, or it was lying there on the airfield. So, how did the engine fall off during the takeoff roll? I'm going to now. DeAndre says engine cowling on the runway. I've seen a couple different pictures. I don't know which ones are legit. And just to remind you, here's what it looked like. This is from yesterday, and this is from Reuters and Stringer's Hub. This is the video. I'll turn the sound off while I'm playing this. I'll turn the sound on the video off just because we played that before. But this you can see, that is the plane with the fire on the left side of the plane. Now, at that point, has the engine fallen off? What do we miss the engine falling off in this? Like, is the engine still there at the start of that, and then it falls off when the camera pans away? I'm not sure. So there, I mean, you see what I'm saying? Now the camera turns away. You can't see it for a second on camera. It goes off frame, and then it goes out of view, and then it comes back in. So when did it come off? Because now that would be the end, but that would be after the takeoff roll means it's accelerating to takeoff speed. But I would think at this point it's already at takeoff speed because it's off the ground. So yeah, so a number of our viewers are saying that engine is off already, which would make sense if the engine fell off during the takeoff roll, because this would be, in theory, after the takeoff roll, because it's already in the air. But it's weird to think now, watching this, that there's no engine on the left side of the plane. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, the engine's on fire. But I'm not sure. Drippy Beats thinks it fell off near the control tower mid-runway. They could not abort as they were past V1, but not at rotate speed. Anyways, I'm not sure about this, but it seems possible that the engine isn't even on there at the time when this is happening. Now, Augie Ben Doggy says the engine was located near the end of the runway, so it was not off at the beginning of this video. Again, I don't know. So I do not know if in this video the engine is still attached to the plane. I don't know. One of our viewers said, SJ said, they hardly made it in the air at all. Yeah, I mean, very little. So obviously, a huge question is, how did the engine come off the plane? And even though I'm not an aviation expert, I know there's another question, which is, okay, one engine came off, but you know, what happened to the other engines? Were they not working? Did what happened with the first engine affect the other two engines? There's three engines. By the way, thank you to Kerry Poteet for the memberships. Ian Cope Dog says, do you think he'd see it in the rearview mirror? Some of our viewers think that maybe the pilots couldn't see this. That I don't know. They did say that they have recovered the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. So, presumably, investigators will be able to hear what the pilots were saying. Engines detach during V1 speed where they have to lift off. Yeah, V1 speed on takeoff. I was reading something about this yesterday. V1 speed means isn't it once you reach V1, is that where you can know I think V1 is where you can no longer stop the plane from taking off. It's going fast enough that it's going to take off. But let me look this up and make sure. I was looking this up last night because I saw people discussing this term, V1 speed. Point of no return, say Debbie James and Mass Punch. V1 speed is a critical... let's see, hold on a second here. Wikipedia says V1 is the speed beyond which takeoff should no longer be aborted. The point of no return. Is it should no longer or can't be? Yes. Wikipedia says V1 is the speed above which the takeoff will continue, even if an engine fails or another problem occurs, such as a blown tire. So if you're going to abort, it also says aborting a takeoff after V1 is strongly discouraged because the aircraft may not be able to stop before the end of the runway, thus suffering a runway overrun. So the reason when I was looking online, some people were discussing V1 because some people were suggesting that there was nothing the pilots could do. That if the plane was going fast enough at the time they noticed this, then they just couldn't stop the plane from taking off. Now, I don't know that that's the case, but that was the context of the discussion that I saw. Now, Lyle says V1 is where you can't stop the aircraft on the remaining runway length. I've seen some different definitions of it. But again, Wikipedia says it is a speed above which the takeoff will continue even if an engine fails or another problem occurs. Kevin Graham says you have to take off at V1. Now, but you know what happened here? Obviously, you want to know why was it on fire before it took off? Why did the engine fall off? So that I don't know, and that's what obviously that's what they're investigating. And let me just show you here. So AP says, you can see here it says 11 dead, including a child. That number, it is definitely possible it will rise, according to the governor. And you can see here, Governor Bashir predicted the death toll will rise, saying authorities were looking for a handful of other people, but we do not expect to find anyone else alive. The University of Louisville Hospital said 2 people were in critical condition in the burn unit. Terrible. 18 people were treated and discharged at that hospital or other healthcare centers. Now, this said the governor said he did not know the status of the UPS crew members aboard the plane. It was not clear if they were being accounted among the dead. That's interesting. Reuters had reported that the 3 crew members were dead. I don't know if their bodies have been recovered yet. I don't know. I mean, you're looking at what I'm seeing in this article here. Flight records show the plane was on the ground in San Antonio from September 3rd to October 18th. Jeff Guzzetti, a former federal crash investigator, said a number of things could have caused the fire as the plane was rolling down the runway. Guzzetti said it could have been the engine partially coming off and ripping out fuel lines, or it could have been a fuel leak igniting and then burning the engine off. It's just too soon to tell. He said the crash bears a lot of similarities to 1979, when the left engine fell off an American Airlines jet as it was departing Chicago's O'Hare Airport, killing 273 people. Guzzetti said this UPS plane and the American Airlines plane from 1979 were equipped with the same General Electric engines. The 1979 crash involved the DC-10, but the MD-11 UPS plane is based on the DC-10. Peter Finn says, just mentioned that crash in 1979. There was also something here about UPS I saw. Where is that? UPS said air hub closure to create delivery delays across its global network. The temporary closure of the sprawling UPS cargo hub in Louisville, Kentucky, following a deadly plane crash will create delays to the delivery firm's global network, says Reuters. The Worldport hub processes millions of packages for roughly 360 incoming and outbound aircraft each day, giving it a critical role in the UPS air cargo operations hub and spoke model. The company stopped operations at the Louisville air cargo hub when the plane crashed yesterday. UPS canceled the mid-morning to mid-afternoon Worldport shift that handles second-day air packages. It has not said when it plans to resume regular operations at the 5.2 million square foot facility that is roughly the size of 89 U.S. football fields and can process over 400,000 packages per hour. Because many UPS packages pass through Worldport on their way to other destinations, there will be inevitable delays and disruptions for UPS customers. And then Reuters also says that Louisville Airport houses UPS's largest package handling facility and is a critical hub for its global air cargo operations. UPS's cargo operations were expected to resume by Wednesday morning, but the company had not issued an official update yet. A prolonged shutdown at the facility known as Worldport could have a cascading effect on the U.S. logistics network, potentially delaying deliveries and disrupting supply chains. The Worldport facility at the Louisville airport handles around 2 million packages per day and sees an average of 360 inbound and outbound flights per day. Let's see here. Jerry Kovacs says that is a very large hub. I don't know if they've issued an updated statement, UPS. I will look and see. The last thing I saw posted from them was from yesterday, statements. This was the statement from yesterday. I haven't seen a new one from them. Artful Nothing says their facility in Louisville covers 90 football fields. One of our viewers said, I wonder what was on board. That I don't know. Oh, let me show you what another expert said. So this is from a Washington Post article today. Death toll rises to 9, but after this article, it rose to 11. If you look down here, it says, Scott Dunham, a retired longtime NTSB investigator, previously told the Washington Post that the severe fire at the crash site suggests significant disruption of the engine fuel supply. That could be a possible consequence of an uncontained engine failure when a high-speed rotating part of an engine fractures, which can result in catastrophic damage to the plane. So what is he saying? He said the severe fire at the crash site suggests significant disruption of the engine fuel supply? Sean T says leak. So is the idea that the fire is more widespread because fuel was leaking or something? I mean, I didn't know if this meant yesterday, the article, the version of the article, I read an article in the Washington Post yesterday that I think quoted him. And in that article, it said, see if I can get, I don't know if that's like not the best summary of his quote. In the article from yesterday, it said that Scott Dunham said, all right, the article from the Post yesterday said Scott Dunham, retired NTSB investigator, said videos taken at the scene show what appears to be a severe fire in the left engine during the takeoff roll. Here, let me show you what he actually said. Hold on. This is from yesterday, the Washington Post. Scott Dunham said, videos taken at the scene show what appears to be a severe fire in the left engine during the takeoff roll. He said, although the nose gear was off the ground, it looks like they never became airborne. Although they did become a bit airborne. But he said, the investigators will likely be looking for evidence of an uncontained engine failure where a high-speed rotating part of an engine fractures, which can result in catastrophic damage to the engine, fuel lines, or other parts of the structure. That's what that expert said. Justified in Ancient says, seems like a case of big businesses cutting corners and using out-of-date equipment. That I can't say, but obviously you want to find out why this happened, and, you know, shouldn't happen, but is this something to do? Was it something wrong with the engine or something else on board? Was everything maintained properly? I mean, I would assume that there's plenty of procedures to keep this kind of thing from happening. Wizard of Boz also mentioned American Airlines Flight 191. Which this is 191. That's the plane that crashed a DC-10 in 1979 when its left engine detached from the wing, causing a loss of control. That's the deadliest aviation accident in the United States, 273 fatalities. You can read about that on Wikipedia. The NTSB in that crash found the aircraft, as the aircraft was beginning its takeoff rotation, engine number 1 separated from the left wing, flipping over the top of the wing and landing on the runway. As the engine separated from the aircraft back in 1979, it severed hydraulic lines that locked the wing's leading edge slats in place and damaged a 3-foot section of the wing's leading edge, left wing's leading edge. Aerodynamic forces acting on the wing resulted in an uncommanded retraction of the outboard slats as the aircraft began to climb. The damaged left wing produced far left lift in the right wing, which had its slats still deployed and the engine providing full takeoff thrust, and so on and so forth. The engine separation in that crash was attributed to damage to the pylon structure holding the engine to the wing caused by improper maintenance procedures at American Airlines. That was that crash in 1979. But they said, the NTSB said the engine came off the wing basically due to improper maintenance. But we don't know yet what the reasoning for the engine coming off the plane in this case is. Yeah, a viewer, J Mess, sent me pictures from the runway. I don't have the. Let's see, where is this here? I don't have the rights to show this, but what? From what our viewer JMess63 sent me, the debris, there's a picture that I don't have the rights to, but supposedly shows the engine on the runway, and it appears to be towards the end of the runway. Thank you, JMess. Mish Girl thinks what happened was very similar to what happened in Chicago in 1979. Is there a link for the picture? Yeah, I did see, I'll post a link to one of the pictures. You can find them if you just search online, but I did see one of the pictures posted that I will post a link to. AZ Intel posted one of them I saw. If I can find it here. Where is it? Right here. I'll post the link in the chat. And let me just, for people who haven't seen it, again, this video I purchased the rights to so I could show it to you, but it's the one video I know of which is showing the plane on fire before the crash. Let me actually put on the screen here. And I'll put for those who haven't seen it, I'll put the audio on. Trying not to play the audio every time.
Holy shit. Cam, they're dead. They are dead, bro. Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Cam, they're dead. They are dead, bro. Bro, get the fuck away.
Oh, also, let me remember what the NTSB said today. They said they have surveillance footage, from the airport. So there's more videos in this. We haven't seen them. I haven't seen them, but the NTSB has seen them. They said that they saw the engine come off. So so my guess is that they might have multiple videos. This just shows kind of the end of the takeoff, but the NTSB may have multiple videos showing the whole thing. Joe Martin says, looks like a wing fire too. Pale Shelter says UPS will be in huge trouble. Well, we don't know what the investigation is going to say. Hang on 1 second here. Hang on 1 sec here. The Washington Post says there have been at least 2 other fatal crashes involving UPS aircraft, according to NTSB records. The most recent was in 2013 in Birmingham, Alabama. 2 people, the captain and first officer, were killed. Another occurred in Dubai in 2010. According to the aviation analytics data firm Cirium, there are 58 MD-11 planes in service. The vast majority of MD-11s in service are operated by UPS and FedEx. Also, Deborah Johnson, our viewer, says 2 separate expressways are next to the airport. There definitely may be more footage to come, and it was rush hour. We also showed you this video earlier, which is from, hold on, I just want to show you again. There's a bunch of videos like this. This is one I have the rights to, but you can find a bunch of them out there, like security cam footage. So this is from this Reuters article here. From today, but it was Kentucky Truck Parts and Service took this video. It says front gate, but what you'll see in this video, again, if you haven't seen it, I know some of you have, but there is the plane right there. Crazy. There it is, and you see it on on its side as it's crashing. There's actually 2 videos. There's this one, and then the next one, you'll see it go across the top of the surveillance camera. And I'll just play this without the sound here. There you see the plane moving across there. And there's a bunch of videos like this. It's really horrific. Yeah, Sparky Pilot says the footage is so crazy. Kelly Reed Lacefield says tragic all the way around. Juliana Martin says questions and so many. She says it's mind-boggling how an engine falls off an airplane. Like, don't they have people that look over the planes before people board? You know, again, there must be procedures to prevent this from happening, but something has gone wrong, and that's what the NTSB is going to be looking into. Yeah, there's a video of a truck driver watching out his cab when this happens and reacting to it, which I don't have the rights to, but I will post a link to it for you in the chat in case you haven't seen it yet. Let me pull it up here. Where is it? I posted it. I reposted it. Yes, B&O News Live posted it. I just posted it in the chat right now, and you can pull it up there if you'd like. Convict Gaming says this plane crash was right up the street. How many on board? There were 3 on board. One article I read today said that the 3 were definitely dead, and another one said they haven't been confirmed dead. So that's the best I can tell you on that. Hang on one second here. Teresa B. Reynolds says V1 is the go, no-go speed regarding takeoff. Rotate is the actual liftoff. Yeah, some of our viewers have been mentioning rotation. Wikipedia says rotation refers to the action of applying back pressure to a control device, such as a yoke, side stick, or center stick, to lift the nose wheel off the ground during takeoff. And Google AI says rotation is the maneuver during the takeoff where the pilot pitches the aircraft's nose up to a specific takeoff altitude. Brian Birch says, I don't see how the crew could have survived that giant explosion. Yeah, it certainly would be miraculous if any of them did. We don't know if they're if they have been recovered yet or not. Eric V thinks this crash is similar to a 1992 crash in Amsterdam where an engine was lost because of a bolt failure. And then I think Eric is saying in that crash, the engine impacted the other motor on the other side. Now, this plane, again, has 3 engines. Don't know how long it'll take also. This was a question that was asked as they were leaving the press briefing, the NTSB. I don't know how long it'll take for their initial assessment to come out. Oh, and speaking of air travel, I did want to mention something. I just saw, this is not that related, but I did want to mention this to you because I just saw this. Where is it here? So look at this. This I just saw myself. U.S. orders 10% cut in flights as several airports as shutdown drags on. So I just saw this. The Trump administration announced it would reduce flight traffic by 10% in 40 markets across the U.S. as part of an effort to ease pressure on air traffic controllers who will miss another paycheck next week as the government shutdown enters its second month. The reductions take effect Friday. Details about which markets will be affected would be announced Thursday, administration officials said. The move is unprecedented and comes just a few weeks before the busy Thanksgiving travel period. Already, forecasts predict that a record number of Americans are expected to travel during the holiday. There will be frustration, said Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary, but in the end, our sole role is to make sure we keep this airspace as safe as possible. The reductions take effect Friday. Details about which markets would be affected will be announced Thursday. That's from the Washington Post. Flight Radar 24 says, Flight Radar 24, the great flight tracking app, they said, we don't yet know how these cuts will be metered across the different markets, but a 10% overall cut in scheduled commercial flights is in the neighborhood of 5,000 flights per day. And Chris Van Cleve, who is with he's a transportation reporter with CBS News. He says it's going to be 40 high volume markets. So according to Chris Van Cleve, the 10% cut will be in flights in 40 high volume markets in the U.S. Sean, our viewer, thinks it will be Democrat areas. We don't know for sure. Now, I don't know how much of this is the kind of thing where it's like this threat. I mean, it's happening soon, but I don't know if it's like part of a threat to be like, okay, Democrats, we really need to end the shutdown now, so, but I have no reporting that it's not serious, but maybe the point is to put pressure to get the shutdown over with. But that just coming out, I think, in the last hour or so. Right at holiday time, says Paula Thompson. So that's going on as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Oh, hey, look, I have another report on this. Again, covering this because it's aviation. Look at this. AP now. FAA reducing air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets during government shutdown. The FAA said today it will reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets beginning on Friday to maintain safety during the government shutdown. The reduction stands to impact thousands of flights nationwide because the FAA directs more than 44,000 flights daily, including commercial passenger flights, cargo planes, and private aircraft. Air traffic controllers have been working unpaid since October 1st. With some calling out of work, staffing shortages during some shifts have led to flight delays at a number of U.S. airports. Citing growing staffing pressures, FAA Administrator Brian Bedford said the agency would not wait for a crisis to act. We can't ignore it, he said. Bedford and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said they would meet with airline executives later Wednesday to determine how to safely implement the reduction in flights. Until then, both declined to name the affected markets. Bedford said a list would be released sometime tomorrow. If the pressures continue to build even after we take these measures, Bedford said, we'll come back and take additional measures. So that is going on. Well, we'll see. We'll see if this ends up actually happening, if the shutdown keeps going. Oh, Jamie B says Mayor Greenberg said that 12 have died now in the plane crash. Jamie sent me a report from WLKY. Where is that from? WLKY says 12 people are dead. Where was this? This article is from when? So WLKY is now reporting that at least 12 are dead. But it says as of Wednesday morning. So, but that wasn't Wednesday morning. Now I'm confused about that report. I'm a little confused. It's kind of confusing. We covered the press conference earlier. You can watch it, the live press conference. And at that press conference, they hit 11. So I'm a little confused about that report. Anyways, I'm sure we'll get clarity soon. Oh, now, Wave News says 12 dead as well. Wave News is saying 12 news too. Yes, so Wave News, which is in Louisville, also said that after the press conference, the governor said a 12th person has died. So multiple outlets in Louisville, say the mayor said that 12 people have died, not 11, that it's gone up. Well, that's even worse now. And again, that number could go up, from what I understand. All right. So look, if you missed it, we covered. We came on live to cover the update from the mayor and the governor and others. Their live update about this, which you can go back and watch. We also took a look at this afternoon's NTSB press conference on this crash, which you can also go back and rewind and watch. We took a bunch of your comments. We watched footage of the actual crash, which is terrible. I mean, not like you don't see graphic bodies and stuff, but it's just terrible that it happened. Again, we don't know what caused this. The NTSB is beginning their investigation, and why and the NTSB said the left engine came off the plane during the takeoff roll when the plane was accelerating to take off. Why it came off, I don't know. We know there was a fire on the left side of the plane, and as we have been showing you right here, without the volume on, I'll put the volume right now, but you can see that the plane was on fire. There was a fire on the left side of the plane as it was going down the runway, and then it crashed. So what caused this? Why did this happen? It's terrible. The 3 people on board are believed to be dead. We have at least 9 people on the ground who have died from this crash. There's the plane with the fire on the left side right there. So why did this happen? We don't know. Hopefully it can be figured out so that it won't happen again. But terrible. But we're going to start wrapping up this stream for now. If there's big news on this, maybe we'll do another stream. I just don't know how the news on this is going to go. But in the meantime, if I have updates, I will post them on my X account, which is @Lookner on X. You can follow me there, @Lookner. I'll keep an ear out for updates on this, but just really terrible. And before we sign off, at the end, I will go back and confirm, if I can, the website address of the donation site that the governor gave during the press conference. But I'll do that at the end. We talked about it was in the press conference. You can watch in the press conference, but I'll go confirm it before we sign up. But I really appreciate people being here for this stream. Thank you so much for writing in and sharing your thoughts and your aviation knowledge and your questions. And again, as I said earlier, condolences to all the people who lost families and lost family members in this, and thoughts with all those injured and people impacted who say, they might have lost a business or had their business impacted by this. So just terrible. But I do appreciate you being here for the stream. And if you'd like, subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news here without an agenda, Agenda Free TV. And I would suggest turning on our notifications, because I never know when a new big story is going to happen and I'm going to have to rush on the air. But you can avoid missing a stream by getting notified when we're going live by signing up for our free notifications. Our mods will post a link to sign up for the notifications in the chat. We do it through Discord, and they're really reliable. So I would suggest signing up for those. And speaking of mods, I really want to thank our moderators for being here. They're amazing. They're the ones that allow us to have chat rooms here. We couldn't do it without our mods. So thank you, moderators. Ruth Krafasi and Beth Mythical over there on YouTube right now, and all of our other YouTube mods who I have thanked earlier. Thank you so much. Also, let's see here. Where is it? I need to find... our Twitch moderators, 13 Alamo, Big Ball of Yarn, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah and Surly Dev, and all of our Twitch moderators, thank you. By the way, I owe a thanks to Jazzy Renee for subscribing on Twitch. I'm late on that. Thank you, Jazzy Renee. Also, our Facebook mods. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up here. Thank you to Margaret Riley, I know was moderating over there. Thank you, Margaret. And Shannon Davis Hughes. Thank you, Kay Lowry Body, all of our other Facebook moderators, and Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. Thank you for moderating. And thanks for your support of the channel, everyone. I really appreciate it. That's what allows the channel to exist. And did I get everybody? No, I owe a couple more thank yous here. I'm sorry. Steve Otten, thank you so much, Steve, over there on YouTube, and Sausage from Canada. Also, Pierre Dubois, our member. And, I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you, Gregory Brown. Gregory says, way too similar to American 191. Thank you, Gregory. Sorry for the delay. And Pierre Dubois and Lady Wisewolf, thank you for being a member. And... let's see here. Another good way to find out when we're live is to follow us on X @Agenda Free TV. I always post there when we're going live. I post updates about the channel there, so you can follow over there if you're on X @Agenda Free TV. We do have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. The Agenda Free TV Discord chat. It's free. A bunch of our viewers like doing that. It's the same link as the free notifications link. So check out our Discord chat. And thanks so much to our Discord mods for all you do for the channel. Discord mods, thank you. Also, for those watching on YouTube, if you do watch on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications, which is a good way to find out when we're live. But to do that, what you need to do is you need to subscribe to the channel, then click the bell, then choose all notifications. Subscribe, click the bell, choose all notifications. Let me get you the address that the governor gave, if I can dig it up here. He mentioned it at the end. He mentioned their donation address. Where is it? Where is it here? Can I find it? It's got to be right around here. One moment. I said I would show it to you again. And I know the governor mentioned it. I think it was the governor who mentioned it. Maybe it wasn't. I know he... Oh, wait.
They're also asking people to contact the NT. Those answers quickly.
Today, I'm going through this. That I'm going to turn it over to what's happening today.
I can't find it.
For the 11.
I'm going to have to just look it up. I can't find where he mentioned it.
FBI was from a different one. Was headed from.
I should be able to, though. It's not that long. I can't find the exact moment he mentioned it at.
CPS is back in school tomorrow. Render the area this quickly. To questions, videos, describe for me as governor in a for the debate. Yes. Obviously, I know a lot of this is sensitive.
All right, I'm going to tell you about it. For those of you who are still here, yes. So WHAS ABC Louisville said Governor Beshear created a new fund for those impacted by the crash to donate to the Team Kentucky Relief Fund. Click here. So it's the Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund. That's according to WHAS Louisville. The Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund. I'm sorry I couldn't find the exact point in the briefing where he mentioned it. I know it was mentioned. But that's the link that was in WHAS article. If you're interested. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Hey, thanks, Paul Anderson, for moderating too. Thanks to all of our Facebook subscribers like Chuck Mosca and Jennifer Ellers and Sharon Klassen Goslin and Robert Rial II and Kay Lowry Body and Margaret Liley and Shannon Davis Hughes and all of our other Facebook subscribers. Thanks so much for subscribing over there and supporting the channel. Thank you to our Twitch subscribers like Wall Street and Shaggy. Thank you. And I Got That Fire. Thanks for subscribing. And CC and Tatermong. Thank you. Jazzy Renee, Meat Missile, and Breakin 407. Thank you for subscribing. Site Insistent, who said, hold on a second. Site Insistent actually has worked at a UPS as an UPS air sorter. Thank you, Site Insistent, for subscribing. And also thanks to all of our YouTube members, people like Alabama Fan, Sparky Pilot, Michael Avery, Pierre Dubois, Cat 813, Joe Hart, Leslie Ladyhawk, Gary Baines, Ty McFadden, Bunny, Greenneck, Michael Avery, Betsy's Tag, and all of our other YouTube members, Eric Johnson and others. Thanks KK for watching, Melissa B for watching, and everybody else for tuning in. Oops. All right. And if there's big news later tonight, we will cover it. Thank you, Kelly Reed Lacefield, for watching. All right, guys. So that is it for now. You've been watching our live coverage. If you missed it, you can go back and watch the press conference on this crash, the latest one, and also by the governor and the mayor, and also we did the NTSB press conference too. We showed that, so feel free to rewind if you didn't see those. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.